Ladies and gentlemen, it is a momentous, triumphant occasion because Triumph Motorcycles has launched the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X globally, and yes, these will be manufactured in India by Bajaj Auto. So Preetham, what is your first opinion about these motorcycles?
Well, these are quintessential Triumphs, and like we've seen in the Triumph range over the years, the fit and finish, build quality looks absolutely top notch. So the competition has a lot to catch up on if you look at the quality and finish levels, isn't it?
Right.
Now, these are made in India by Bajaj Auto. That doesn't mean these have anything to do with the KTM or the Dominar platforms, because Triumph and Bajaj have a non-equity partnership, which means there's no equity sharing. So under the partnership, Bajaj will manufacture these Triumph small single-cylinder Triumph motorcycles in India, and these will be sold all over the year. So KTM, partnership with KTM is completely separate. Partnership with Triumph is completely separate. Bajaj KTM have a sort of an equity partnership which has been further complicated now.
Right.
Bajaj owns a stake in Pierer Mobility, the parent company of KTM, Husqvarna, Gas and all those brands.
Right.
But with Triumph, there is no equity partnership. It's a strategic partnership under which Triumph will use Bajaj's manufacturing facilities. It's a sort of to make use of economies of scale to build a lot of new bikes. And those are the first Triumph made in India bikes that we see right now. The new Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X. So look very, very interesting, look very nice, very impressive indeed. And so let's talk about what more about those bikes.
So let me quickly tell you about the differences on the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X. Now, the Speed 400, it's a roadster, it's a modern classic roadster, beautiful lines, old school retro charm, and yes, like I said, it's a roadster meant for the road, clean, flowing, wavy tarmac. On the other hand, the Scrambler 400X, it has that nice Scrambler vibe. So the biggest difference is the fact that the Scrambler 400X gets a 19-inch wheel up front, while the Speed 400 gets a 17-inch unit up front. Alloy wheels on both motorcycles. The fun fact here is that the Speed 400, it runs on Metzeler Sportec M9RR tires, very grippy, that's what Triumph says, and the Scrambler 400X runs on Metzeler Karoo dual sport tires, the Karoo Street. Again, we have seen these tires on other brands as well, and from personal experience, I think we have ridden motorcycles with the Metzeler Karoo tires. Really nice, really grippy, works well on dirt and on tarmac as well. Apart from that, subtle differences, the seat on the Scrambler 400X, it's a two-step seat, while on the Speed 400, it's a single piece seat. And of course, more suspension travel on the Scrambler, about 150 millimeters front and rear, while the Speed 400 has 140 up front and 130 millimeters of travel at the rear. And yes, both motorcycles, the rear monoshock is adjustable for preload as well.
Yes, the talking point is of course the new engine, 398cc single cylinder 4-valve DOHC engine, and it makes about 39.5 bhp at 8000 rpm, so that's a decently high revving engine, and makes about 37.5 newton meters of torque, peak torque at about 6,500 rpm.
Right.
It should be a decent enough engine with decent performance. If you look at performance figures, the KTM 390 Duke has about 43 bhp at 9000 rpm. That's even higher revving than this one. Of course, the flavor of the bikes are different. The KTM 390 Duke is more of a modern retro street fighter, and this one is more of a towards a retro roadster. Feel of the characteristic of the bike will be different, but even then, looking at the specs, 39.5 bhp at 8000 rpm looks pretty impressive on paper, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
It's more than the, in fact, quite a lot more than the BMW G310 and the TVS 310 that we know of. That's about 33.5 bhp at 9250 rpm. This one is 39, full 6 bhp more, and that one's got about 28 newton meters, 7,500 rpm. This one's got 37.5 newton meters of peak torque at 6,500 rpm. So
10 newton meters almost.
10 newton meters almost difference. And if you look at the KTM 390 Duke, 37 Newton meters again, but the torque comes in quite high at 7,000 RPM. But it doesn't matter about the RPM also, it matters how the torque is spread out, the torque curve.
Right.
So the Triumph 400, the new 400, has a flat torque curve, and it should have a lot of mid-range and low-end grunts. So that should make it feel a lot more eager in lower revs, and maybe even not require as many downshifts as the KTM does probably. So if you're riding in the city, it won't require as many downshifts as the KTM to be in the power band. That's what we assume. Of course, we'll get to ride it very soon. We'll talk all about it, how it performs and all that. But that's what we assume from looking at the spec sheet right now. And on top of that, the Speed 400 weighs about 170 kgs, and the Scrambler is 179 kgs, right?
That's right, yes.
The weight difference primarily is because of bigger brakes,
right?
More suspension travel,
right?
Yeah.
So the Scrambler 400X gets a 320 mm disc up front, while the Speed 400 gets a 300 millimeter disc up front. Of course, both motorcycles also get ride-by-wire, switchable traction control, and on the Scrambler 400X, it also gets switchable ABS. Yes, I think you can disengage the rear ABS, and that allows you more freedom while riding on dirt and trails. And apart from the fact that both these motorcycles get 43 mm big piston upside down forks. So yes, lot of premium kit going on to these motorcycles, and the gold color of the forks, they sort of pop out, right? I mean, it looks so beautiful, with the other color of the fuel tank and everything. So what I think that these motorcycles should be really exciting. I mean, it's a big step for Triumph to be venturing into small to mid-size motorcycles and taking on the likes of Royal Enfield, KTM and BMW in this market, a market which is so competitive like India. And what are your thoughts, Preetham, as in?
Yes, top-notch quality, and everything will also depend on the price, but 43 mm upside down forks from Endurance, and brakes are from Bybre Brembo's made in India brand again.
Right.
These are Bybre, I think radially mounted calipers,
yes,
4-pot calipers on the front and single pot calipers at the back. But fit and finish, again, from what we can see in the videos and the pictures, top notch like any Triumph you'd ever want.
Right.
Of course, these will be the entry point into the Triumph motorcycle family. So anyone aspiring to have a Triumph in their garage, these bikes will be the made in India Triumphs, will be the most affordable Triumphs worldwide. Pricing, considering they have the kit, they have features like ride-by-wire, switchable ABS and all that, we would assume these to be priced very competitively, considering they have a tie-up with Bajaj and these are manufactured in India, so there will be some savings on the manufacturing cost, considering they are mass manufactured in India. Still, pricing will play a key role.
Absolutely.
But what are your takes? My book, I think the Speed 400 will be about 3 lakh or maybe 2.95 lakhs, and the Scrambler 400X 3.15 to 3.2 lakhs. If Triumph and Bajaj can price at those levels, then these bikes are a sure winner. But even if they're priced slightly higher than that, even then, as an entry level into the Triumph family with that kind of quality and that kind of specs that we see, we assume the performance will also be pretty impressive. So these should make very good value. Unless they are priced astronomically, then it's a different issue. But we hope that these will be priced very, very competitively indeed. What do you think, Ikshu? What are your thoughts on the pricing? So
I think what you said about the pricing, I mean, it's going to play a very important role, and Triumph should nail the pricing, because if it does, then I think it's going to be a bestseller for the brand in India and globally as well, because remember the fact that it will be manufactured in India and in Triumph's plants in Hinckley, in Thailand and in Brazil as well. So this is a bike that will be made in India for the world, and if Triumph does nail the pricing, then it has a potential winner on its hands. But the caveat here is the fact that Harley Davidson and Hero MotoCorp will also be launching the X440 in India right before Triumph announces the pricing for the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X. So that is going to be a very interesting battle between Harley Davidson and Triumph two traditional rivals. It's like almost, America versus Britain. It's going to be a fantastic, battle in the 350 to 500cc segment.
Well, you've forgotten dark horse in this whole discussion is Royal Enfield, which is making leaps and bounds over the past few years in quality. The 650
Right.
twins blew the whole thing away, and Royal Enfield has established itself as the global leader in the mid-size segment, which is exactly what the Triumph 400 and the Harley Davidson 440 will target. That slice of the market. Now, shots have been fired by Triumph. Now, everybody else, including Royal Enfield, including Harley, including KTM, will need to catch up. Just looking at the pictures and the videos in terms of quality and
Right.
build quality, right? Triumph has made a really, really impressive product, two products in fact, with these, the Scrambler 400X and the Speed 400. But
Right.
again, on the topic of the Scrambler 400X, this one comes with alloy wheels, right? Some people
Yes.
may want a spoked wheel version, so why not a spoke wheel version?
I think Triumph is still trying to gauge the sales of the Scrambler 400X. I mean, they have just unveiled the bike. The motorcycle will be launched, the prices will be announced on July 5th, 2023, barely a week away. And right after, the very next day, I think Preetham is going to ride the motorcycles, and I'll be riding the Harley Davidson X440. So we will be riding these motorcycles back to back, comparing notes. And coming back to the question of offering spoke wheels on the Scrambler 400X, I think they might offer spoke wheels as an option, maybe a few months down the line, depending on the demand of the
Well,
motorcycle.
there's a whole different discussion to offering spoked wheels in any adventure bike or a scrambler. If at all a spoked wheel option is offered, like the KTM 390 Adventure has been offered, to offer a spoked wheel with tubeless tires makes it a very expensive proposition,
Right.
particularly at that price point. So the KTM 390 Adventure SW, a spoke wheel variant, gets tube tires, and as is the case, some of us are used to mending punctures, swapping out tubes, but that takes a lot of the fun away. The convenience of just repairing a puncture with a tubeless tire is just enormous, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%.
So, if Triumph were to offer a spoked wheel with tubeless tires, that would probably jack up the prices even further. At this point of time, we don't have it. This is all just speculation that we are talking
Right.
about. What if? Is it required? Maybe not at that kind of motorcycle segment, because it is not actually meant for a hardcore off-road riding. That Scrambler is not meant for hardcore off-road riding. It's a crossover. You can do go over soft trails, gravel trails.
Right.
Do stuff like go up to the high Himalayas and Spiti and Ladakh and do all that jazz without missing a heartbeat. What we don't know so far is the price, of course, which will be announced on 5th of July. And the ground clearance which Triumph has not yet announced. So something which we will of course ask and get back to you. But I suppose it will be roughly in the ballpark of 170, 188 mm,
Right.
which is pretty decent actually for that kind of motorcycle. Again, what will be crucial is the pricing. If it's priced at 3.5 lakh or thereabouts, then Triumph definitely is a winner. Most affordable Triumph, the entry level point in the Triumph family, these bikes are certainly going to be blockbusters if the pricing is correct.
So that's it for now from Preetham and myself on the Car and Bike podcast. Very, very excited to ride the Triumph 400 twins. I mean, Preetham was casually joking about it last night, saying that they should have been named street singles. So yes, look forward to riding these motorcycles and also the Harley Davidson X440. Yes, again, very exciting, and we'll see you on the next one.
So the Harley Davidson X440 review will go live soon after, in fact probably coinciding with the Triumph launch, because the Harley Davidson X440 which Kingshuk will be riding is just before the Triumph launch. I will be of course riding the Triumph 400s, and our review will go live on the 14th of July. We'll just keep a lookout on that and let us know what do you think till the prices are announced on 5th July. What according to you, how much will you pay for these bikes, the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X? How much do you think should be a right price for these bikes? Let us know in the comments, and let me know if 3.5 lakh is something which you'll be willing to pay for these bikes, or you'd be willing to go even up to about the 4 lakh mark. Let us know in the comments. Please keep those discussions going. How much are you willing to pay for these bikes?
Right.
And thank you for watching. Look out for our first ride review of the all-new Triumph Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X on July 14th. Thank you.